So yesterday on the Magic Online PTQ, there was like 4 mono red decks in the top 8, or red black decks. They're basically the same thing, whatever you want to call them. And a very popular streamer has streamed it most of the day today. And usually when that happens, that means the popularity of the red decks pick up a lot. So I'm actually not very hopeful about our results tonight. So I just want to preference that to begin with. Um, but, you know, it's on the schedule. We're going to play it regardless. So anyway, because of those things, we've added 3 Baffling Ends to the main deck and a 4th to the sideboard to try. We're going to try to overload on early game interaction while still keeping our mid-range and our control matches as well as we can. It's going to give us a lot more conceivably dead cards in particular matches, because like Baffling Meltdown is like much worse than Effer Meltdown versus like all the red-green aggressive decks and things like that, or the red-green monsters decks. But we're going to do our best, and I don't think it'll be that bad. I did consider adding a Force Settle over the first Meltdown for the meta we expect today, but I'm not confident enough in making that decision, so we're just going to play it like this and let her rip. Hello, JJ. How are you doing? Hope you're having a wonderful little evening. Look at that little, is that like a little fish dude? That is a little fish dude. I think rocks. Kind of jealous of little fish dude. Alright, hand's pretty reasonable. Have to keep it. Hey, Corey. How's it going, my man, my man? Yeah, so we're versus some kind of Drowned Catacomb deck. That's what we call the Dream. Second, Wrath Effect on our opening hand isn't particularly okay. Other fish. This fish is not nearly as cool as this fish, but this fish is also really cool. Because who doesn't love fishy things? I'm not just going to jam Search for Azcanta here, because I think the card's too valuable in the match, and I don't want to let them get profit on one of their sensors. But this one's? The Saffron Alum Fishy is really cool, Vin. I'm a big fan of that one. I'm a big fan of both of them. But we can probably find a way to get this Search for Azcanta resolved later. Like, there's a good chance that I'll just throw a Glimmer away on 4 just to get him to tap mana so that we can resolve Search, but that's not 100%. We'll have to see what all is going to happen game-wise. See, like, what we draw this turn and stuff. Thank you, Mr. McCarty. But keep in mind, I didn't actually win. Christian scooped to me in the finals, but I appreciate the kind words. I had loaned Christian his 75, and he felt prudent to scoop to me. I kind of wish he hadn't, because I feel really bad taking advantage of him like that, but I can't make him play. Like, that's not with my control. His lady friend was there, though, and they were going to go to the pool tournament and stuff, so. But, yeah. Kind of sucks, but very happy to get the prize. Christian's a good bloke. Yeah. You still feel bad, though, when it's one of your best friends, and they could have reasonably won themselves, you know? So I'm throwing this away. It's probably going to get counterspelled here, but I believe Search for Azcanta is a more valuable spell overall. And even if he doesn't counter it, it lets us try to get our land count up. Yes, I know he already has a Field of Ruin, but we have our own Field of Ruin, so it's not like that we can't win the Field of Ruin Wars if we choose. What couldn't you get? You had to borrow some cards from my deck. Corey and Ricky were very helpful on that regard. I loaned a lot of cards out for yesterday as well. Alright, so probably not going to protect this, but I could. He may let it resolve just because this is in play. I don't think that's particularly wise because, like I said, I don't have to flip it, and I have my own Field of Runes. Like, just getting the value off this card every turn is already insane. Like, if you just scry every turn and never flip it, that card is so valuable. So I'm looking at our hand and trying to decide whether I'm going to use this Censor now. So what happens? If we untap and we play Approach, he counterspells it or does something, who knows what he does, and he untaps, plays a Scarab God and a land. Then we untap, and we need an 8th mana for like a Fumigate and a Disallow. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and settle it. Or sorry, I'm going to go ahead and Censor rather, is what I'm trying to say. A Blue-White Approach was a really, really solid option. That's what I loan Christian. Yeah, we'd have probably been short on that card. Oh, this little dude's cool too. JJ's got all the cool emotes. Alright. So we don't care if he counterspells the first one. It'd be a little disappointing if he used a Censor, but overall it's not that big of a deal. It's not really in our game, or we just have to resolve one of the other two later. And I feel like we can always beat these decks with just Rivulet anyway, so like I feel like we don't even have to have the Approach. There's some chance he just spends a lot of mana next turn, right? If he spends a lot of mana next turn, like we can like price him into things. We'll put that in the graveyard as well. Can I hide the information on that? Yeah, the cats are pretty hard to find. So he's missing a land drop now. Interesting. I'm going to go ahead and use this. Just to get rid of that. It also lets us flip our Azcanta this turn. He may use it in response back onto Rivulet. And if he does, I believe I'm actually going to use the Rivulet on him. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lands still. We'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I miss a land drop somewhere? I remember if I missed a land drop. This is kind of weird. I guess not. I'll have 7 on my turn. He played first. Alright, I have a search for Azcanta, so he doesn't. So I'm pretty fine with this play. Just like double strip minus. Hey, we got one of the Scarabian Godarinos. And another reason this play is kind of cool is because it guaranteed gives us the search for Azcanta flip. Even if we want to keep the card, because like we wouldn't want to discard an Approach or a Disallow here. We do want to discard that though, I think. I need more blue mana as well. No problem, Jay. Sorry that I couldn't sit around and watch it. I had a tournament in like 4 hours that day, and I still had to sleeve a deck and everything, and I hadn't been to bed, so I basically hosted you and immediately got offline. Not actually sure, JJ. I think there's a decent chance that they're in either Masters or the next Masters set, either one. It's good to see you back, though. I hadn't saw you stream in a while, but I've been keeping a more, I guess what they call, adult sleep schedule. No. I think casting Censor's fine here because if he plays Gearhulk, we have enough mana to just win with. Well, plays Gearhulk, I guess we couldn't just win with the Censor, could we? We wouldn't have the land. Yeah, I'm casting it anyway. He doesn't have anything great to get back but a Glimmer. Got a new pupper. That's sweet. Puppies are the best, man. Let's start paying a little bit more attention to my library count, because I think there's a good chance that we're going to try to mill him this game. Hey, Hellion. Hey, Dung. What's up, everyone? Have to break out the old notepad here for the other screen. Because at this point, like, knowing the cards on the bottom of my library are actually going to be relevant. Which means I also probably need to pick up my pace of play since I'm down like 2 minutes already. Seems like opponent is playing this match pretty properly. Which is surprisingly very weird because you rarely see the match played properly. I know I'm going to have to discard a card this hand, but we already have multiple semi-dead cards in our hand. So I don't really care about the fact that we're going to be discarding to the Glimmer. Because like, we already have 7 cards, we'll be going up to 8, 9, plus 10 if the mana resolves. But basically I'm just trying to get him to spend mana. I really want him to like get aggressive and play like a Gearhulk or something insane. I don't actually want this Glimmer because we're getting to the point now to where, like I said, we're starting to have to discard and stuff. So like more Glimmers don't really help in these situations. All the disallows I can find help very much though. I'll pull it up in a second during sideboarding. I really am worried about timing out in this match. Because like my most common way to win this match is by milling them. I'll put the disallow in my hand. The approach on the bottom. So we know approach is 3 cards from the bottom. We pretty much aren't going to be using a disallow again the rest of the game. We're just going to be working on our land. Sorry, we're not going to be using Azcanta the rest of the game. We have every card in our hand that we actually want. Now we just have to get lands. We have absolutely every card that we want now. Except for literal lands. Pop him up on the other screen for a second. Ah, he's adorable. Absolutely adorable. Here for anybody on YouTube that doesn't know about the little pupper we're talking about. No, we're jamming the old blue white today. Oh, I didn't know there was 5 picks. I'll have to open it back up in a second. Sorry about that. The plan's really to rival him to death. Yeah, I wasn't using that the rest of the game anyway, so I guess I don't care. Like there's no more good spells in our deck. We have every spell in our hand that we want. That's why we're not wasting our time using our Azcanta anymore. We have actually every spell that we want. It's kind of crazy if you think about it. Like literally anything we draw is just straight gets discarded. And if he doesn't have Rivulets, I'm not actually sure how he wins. kind of sucks because when I discard this Glimmer, it kind of lets him know what I'm trying to do, and he gets to reshape his game plan. But the other cards in our hand are just stronger. Just blue manas. We'd like to draw every island in the deck now. Well, that's not a very good one. This is kind of like a weird game. Grixis Energy mix today, 7-0 in Standard Showdown. Wow, that's a pretty big Standard Showdown. Go ahead and bring us another Rivulet down. That's 12 cards, so we're on a 17-turn clock at the moment. We do have to worry about him trying to like disallow these triggers and stuff, so we can only do like one a turn when we start getting later in the game. I'm practically F6ing these turns. I don't know if our opponent knows this. I mean, look at the quality of cards we've discarded. It's always a dangerous plan to try to win like this. But he has to show us that he can even beat this before we bother to cast our approach. Are you on the heavy Phoenix plan or the heavy Scarab plan? Like how do you have your creature threat set up in your Grixis Energy deck? Catching up on time a little bit too. We're just like 90 seconds behind now. Just something I'm very glad about. We hadn't asked Kanta earlier, Sean. Yeah. It's on the old Rivulet plan. If he finds a way to beat the Rivulets, we may have to cast another spell. He's gonna cast something in his main phase. What could this be? Just a Scarabian fellow? Alright, a Scarabian fellow. I do not want you to resolve. Our mismatch Essence Scatter. Should take the time to buy another one of those, but I'm pretty lazy. I like how we spend an Essence Scatter and then redraw an Essence Scatter. I don't want to discard Approach. 4 Glint, 2 Wits, 4 Whirler, 1 2 Phoenix. Oh, so you've got a bit more of a spread out build. It's not too bad. We discarded Approach. I wonder if opponent knows my game plan at this point. The hilarious thing is he's just gonna have like 4 Rivulets in his hand that he's like holding because of my Field of Ruin. Whoops. I lost a little bit of time on that. Like quite literally F6ing his turn at this point. Which is probably a mistake by me. So I'm going to stop it before he gets me. Opponent's on the old 8-turn clock now. Kind of want 2 more lands in play before I try this, but another island wouldn't suck. Oh yeah, that's a good one to discard. That one actually gets a card out of our hand. Probably gets a disallow, but casually turn 31. Whoops, tap my mana wrong. Opponent has achieved a hard counter spell from us. Alright, so this is the turn that I start using Rivulets, the end of his turn here. Plan on using 1 a turn over the next 3 turns. And seeing how it works out. Oh. Well, that Field of Ruin is interesting. So now, because he has that Field of Ruin, we might just be tapping a lot of mana this turn. He's got at least 3 Field of Runes in his deck. Interesting. I don't think I'm using another one this turn. I do use both of these other 2 probably on his next turn, though. So we're going to have to be fighting some kind of fight for these disallows now. It's kind of a pretty interesting fight. We might actually resolve approach this game. So he's got a bunch of disallows. He's going to want to fight over one of these. Ribbons, that's hilarious. Let me get those dog pics before they go too far up the screen. I didn't realize there was 5 pictures. Oh God. Bigger than he looked at in the first picture. Look at that little ear. Look at that little ear. That little ear is so cute. That little ear is ridiculously cute. Look at it. It's just so cute. This one I don't remember if this is mine or his, but whatever. Okay. I think our opponent made a mistake by tapping this. Because if opponent doesn't tap this, I can't play another counterspell this turn. When opponent does tap that, I can. This is absolutely adorable. Yeah, opponent should not have cast that Field of Runes that turn. I don't know what it changes, but like it makes me not be able to play a counter spell, and he could have resolved the disallow last turn while still having a little mana up. But like it doesn't change anything because I can still just untap approach, and I would have double disallow there. But yeah. Anyway, to the sideboard plan. So when sideboarding versus the blue-black Scarab God decks, I never want Regal Caracal in my deck. It can close the game. Like if we go to a game 3 and we only have like 3 or 4 minutes left on the clock, we're just going to have to gamble and slam it in the deck and just go. But for the most part, you don't really want it. The Nezahals are pretty good here because if the games stall out like they did last game, you can just play it and it often wins the game. Ixalan's Bindings are also great here, and obviously all the blue spells are good. The Search for Azcanta is a little less good because we saw him playing 3 Field of Runes, presumably 4, but overall it's a pretty good card. If you know that they're playing Glint Siphoner, you're going to want some Baffling Ends post-board because Glint Siphoner is the single best card they can have versus your deck. But most people don't play them because most people aren't as smart as Jay. And like I guess Oliver, who was like probably basing his list on Jay's, but like most people don't play them, so versus a blind opponent, I typically take them out if I'm ahead of game. And then the other cards you can always take out are like some number of Fumigates and or Settles. I prefer to take out the Fumigates. The Settles can be played around, but the Settles also are an instant speed spell when you already have 5 other like sorcery speed removal spells in your bindings and your cast outs. So I typically just like to build my sideboard like this. Still leave in all the Essence Scatters. The Censors or other cards you can take out. Like if they do have cards that make you need to Fumigate, Settles, and or Baffling Ends, the Censors are the next cards you cut because the Censors basically in competitive games in the mirror only cycle. But so it's like could be reasonable just to take the Censors out and just hedge entirely, but I'm greedy and I like the things that help me get my lands, and the Censor clause or the cycle clause on Censor helps me get my lands. It also helps you like be able to turn 4 play a negate and like possibly try to censor something if they tried to like play their own thing. But this match is primarily post-board games are primarily about Nezahal, Search for Azcanta, and drawing your land drops. But like you guys saw, that very last game, I cast Approach as soon as we got 7 mana and said, I think we're going to Millstone him. Like, you just have to know how the games play out before you go in. Because if I sat there and tried to cast Approach the entire game, there's a good chance that I never resolve that approach because I'm having to spend my mana much differently. You just look for every counterspell and try to play the longest game humanly possible, because when they don't have rivulets and you do have rivulets, they cannot beat you in a long game. It's one of the things a lot of people that play the control matches don't actually realize. It's one of the reasons that those are so good. Try to hold him in your hand as well, because like he showed you Field of Runes, we've already showed him we can beat him with rivulets. So like just playing this rivulet kind of sucks because now he can use the Field of Rune on it. But like I would play any other land except my own Field of Rune first. Your own Field of Runes are more valuable because, like I said, Search for Azcanta is one of the keys to the match. But you don't typically win post-boarded games by milling. You typically win post-boarded games by Nezahal. So like that's not that big of a deal. We could have strip mined him and used it, but then we wouldn't have had mana up. And as we're already having mana issues, we'd rather just get our land back. Could care less about white mana actually. If he uses that Field of Runes now, I would get another island. The white mana will come when we need it. Because we have multiple counterspells, I'm actually going to let him to resolve the duress. Typically, you want to counterspell the duresses and not give them an option, but like I don't want him to duress us spend our mana, and then he'll resolve a Search for Azcanta. So like, yeah, we lose a Glimmer in this situation, probably, unless, you know, like his hand lines up better for him to take a negate or a disallow. But you just don't want them to have the Search for Azcanta. It's just too powerful. It's just way, way too powerful. Yeah, sweet, we hit a land. It's not the best land. Now, if he's got like a Glint or an Azcanta plus a land, he can resolve it. Or sorry, disallow it. I misspoke. Yeah, well, we're both kind of mana screwed, so at least that's relevant. Drawing the second negate kind of like masks our hand a little bit too, because he saw the first one, he might not think about the second one. Where we're both mana screwed here, I would not let him resolve a Glimmer. Typically, if I was making my land drops, I would never counterspell this. But you can't let him get ahead of you on cards and lands and everything. But if I was making my land drops with him, I would not waste a valuable counterspell in that spot. Yeah, plan still just get to Nezahal. Hey, Lucas, what's up, man? How are you going? We're actually ahead in the clock now, which is kind of cool. Opponent has to try a lot harder to beat us than we have to try to beat him. The blue-white approach is definitely my favorite deck to play. Binding, not the greatest card in this spot. He's now on 6 mana. He could just have his own Nezahal, and that's an issue, but yeah, an issue is an issue. It's not an unbeatable issue, because, like, you know, you can just play your own Nezahals. But, it's not a place where you want to be. Land drops are king. That's not a good one. You could just not have Nezahal too. A lot of them don't. So we'll go ahead and get rid of Settle. Pretty well just know if he plays Nezahal this turn that we're not going to come back and beat it. Gotta make sure I remember to cast the first Essence Scatter in my hand and not the second, because they have different artwork. And he saw the first. Yeah, one time land. I like to say one time a lot. If I draw a land, I literally just slam Nezahal. And see if he can figure out a way to beat it. JK, I guess I do not slam Nezahal. I was bluffing. No Nezahal for you, friendo. Nezadino's a good dino. Well, again, like I said, I consider that one of the valuable cards in this match, so I feel like you have to try to negate it. I would even use a disallow, probably. I would probably throw a hard counter spell back at his hard counter spell. What is this? This is just a bunch of mana? No? Oh, wait, whoops, about messed up. The one thing I just said, I about messed up. So, like, even if he, like, plays Arabian God next turn and, like, can, like, buy back his Gonti from now on, it's not the end of the world for us, for the simple fact that we just don't have to attack. We just sit here with our 7/7 on defense and draw cards during every counterspell war and everything. Okay, that's fine. Like, we just don't have to attack, and we deal with the Gonti somewhere down the road with, like, a cast out or an Ixalan's Binding or whatnot. Whatever the situation, or whatever we have in the situation we need it. So, like, we'll just go ahead and play our Ixalan's Binding here. Approach would have been better. Possibly, but, like, I think this just wins the game. Like, I'm pretty sure this Nezahal just wins the game. Whereas, I don't know that Approach wins the game. Like, we could tap out and play Approach, maybe he has Lost Legacy in his sideboard. And he just, like, draws a Lost Legacy and resolves it over the next 2 or 3 turns. Like, I felt like our opponent was setting up a situation to where either he Scarab Godded another Gonti or had, like, another Gonti. It seems to me like he's trying to beat Nezahal. And, like, I'll resolve this Approach later. Like, we're kind of like short on lands. He could have discard spells. He could draw additional counter spells. We don't know what's in his hand. Like, I just don't think this Approach wins the game, or I do think this Nezahal has probably won the game. Like, I would be surprised if this Nezahal hasn't won the game. Clearly not 100% won the game because, like, he can just, like, Vraska's Contempt and disallow. But, like, us just getting to draw 2 additional cards if he does something like that's pretty insane. Like, it's just so good. Like, he definitely has counterplay to this, like Scarab Gods plus Death Touchers, plus, like, he's got our Ixalan's Bindings. He could have hit our own. He could have hit our own Nezahal like that. Like, there's obviously plenty of counterplay to it, but it just seems safer. It always seems safer. Right, so we're not in great shape now because he hit our own Nezahal with the Gonti. So I guess we have to offer to trade. Could have played the Approach. And just, like, netted a card, but we're not in the greatest shape anymore. Like, him hitting Nezzy was brutal. Like, that was like literally worst case for us. But keep in mind he's got a Field of Rune, right? Like, he can make us shuffle whenever he wants. Will we make it to day 25? I mean, I hope so. Yeah, so now we have to just play a different game. We're ahead on the clock. Now we can try to mill them out or do whatever we want. We have like a lot of different options now. Nice. But like it's still like he still has to actively try very hard to beat us, while we don't have to actively try very hard to beat him. Nezahal's the only card in the current spot that we're at in the game. Nezahal is literally the only card in the format I'm worried about. This is the actual only card in the entire format I'm worried about. Like, there's chains of cards that would worry me, but it's the only actual card that worries me. Like, for example, that was a good sequence. He had a disallow plus this thingy, and he's going to make us be able to discard this thingy, which was obviously extremely good. But, like, he still has to have something else to go with that. And, like, there's no guarantee that he does have anything to go with that. Think it's okay to cycle? Because we could hit Glimmer. Can't think of anything that I care that I discard, so we could hit a Glimmer or a Counterspell, and I don't really care if I discard anything else. Getting Search would have been nice, but it's not the end of the world. Torrential Gearhulk main phase is interesting. So we've probably lost this game. And a Deadeye Tracker? I don't know if I even like that card out of the board. I don't think Deadeye Tracker is a very good card, but so it looks like we lost this game, but I don't think casting Approach would have let us win the game. A Scarabian fellow too? Every time I play it, it just like randomly dies. Like literally every time I play it, it just randomly dies to nothing. Hopefully he doesn't have another negate. Guess we keep both of these. We don't keep either of these. Alright. That's probably enough to kill us. Because he gets Nezzy back. Most GFG decks even play Fatal Pushes and stuff, don't they? Like, I probably don't sideboard my Fatal Pushes out. Don't care if he draws a card. Just trying to get a counterspell out of his hand. Because our only real hope here is he basically brick on hard counterspells and us draw like a negate or something and be able to cast this approach next turn. But that's basically our only out in this spot. And it's like pretty thin, but like we have to play for it. I don't think you can afford to take them out though. So he's gonna have some kind of counterspell, I assume. The game's just going on way too long. Get a little more information on how he sideboards. But we're dead. We can't even play around anything. Yeah, him hitting Iron Nazi was brutal. What's this do? Sacrifice a creature. Okay. So maybe we can't even bring Nazi in versus him then. Maybe we can't even bring Nazi in. If he's got hunger. Like reading this card. I don't know. Maybe we can still bring it in. Okay, so how do we make sure we don't get timed out? Or how do we make sure we don't die to damage this game? We could just go ultra defense and not try to win. There's an argument that we just like take all of these out and bring in. Hey Parliament, what's up? Like bring all of these in or something? Because he has only 3 minutes on the clock. But I don't really like trying to abuse moto mechanics. I still think I just want to try to win. Do you think I might bring in one Fumigate though over one approach? Still think I just want to try to win. I don't want to try to beat somebody by timing them out. That's just too scummy for me. I shouldn't say scummy because there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's just not what I like. Certainly keep. And we'll pray very loudly that he doesn't have a turn 1 duress. I mean, it's just not performed for me. I tried it in a bunch of different decks. It might be okay in the blue-black deck. I'm mainly evaluating it based on me trying it in like the black-green decks and stuff. And it's just never worked very well for me in those decks. It's going to be outstanding this game. Well, we'll not put that in the graveyard. It's definitely going to be outstanding this game. So we have to have 2 cards to use this. I think I'm still going to let him use it. Because I need to hit my lands. And I did hit my lands, so this is... Again, this is kind of like last game. This is how you lose this game. You just don't draw lands. So this is exactly what happened last game. Like, we missed a million land drops is why that game was close. If we don't miss those land drops last game, it's not very close at all, I don't think. I think if we hit a 4th land this game, it's not close. Because our hand's stacked. Well, that resolves. Opponent doesn't have a land either, so I guess that's something. Glimmer has to go to our graveyard because we need lands. It's nothing when we don't draw them, though. We easily just lose this game if he hits a land and we don't. Two games in a row after like we kind of like played him like a fiddle game one's a little bit of a frustrating time. As bad as I hate to do this, I think I need the Glimmer in response to try to find lands. We'll put that on the bottom and that on top. And just what happens, happens. We like don't care if he untaps and plays a Scarab or a Gonti or anything because we have the Fumigate. So like him resolving a spell there doesn't really bother us. In fact, we kind of like actively want him to. That doesn't go in the graveyard either. We just want lands here. So we'll probably try to settle this turn and hopefully untap and play Scatter. Or, sorry, hopefully untap and play Fumigate. But we're definitely going to try to settle. He may just let the settle resolve too and not worry about it. If he's got multiple counter spells, this game's going to be very hard. Especially if we kind of like don't draw much on these last few turns. Alright, you got us. That card's so good, but also so bad. Yeah, we need something better than that, I think. Okay, I should play around Censor, shouldn't I? I don't really want to play around Censor right now, but I think I have to. Yeah. Really didn't want to play around Censor that turn. Kind of interesting to me. We'll definitely put that in the graveyard. We'll definitely flip that. Based on our opponent's amount of cards in his hand, I'm going to start with the approach to gain a bunch of life. We'll probably try to play Nezzy next turn. Yeah, so I guess we timed opponent out. I wonder how that game would have actually ended. Could have attacked us for 5 this turn, but then we play Nezzy, and it all depends on what's in his hand, how the game finishes. He's getting ready to flip this too, though. Like he flips it this turn. I don't know, it would have been an interesting game. I wish we had more time to play it. We'll take our win, though. I normally don't like to win by time. If I'm like clearly losing the game, I typically scoop, as everybody saw on stream, but I don't think we were clearly losing that game. Like, we'd already played one approach. We were getting ready to resolve a Nezahal, very likely. So, like, I don't think we'd guaranteed lost that game. It was a pretty good game, though. I wish we had more time to finish it. I thought it was an interesting game. Those games are really fun. Both of us missing our turn 4 land drop was like Like just like very, very weird. I've earned all 5 trophies that I have between the friendly and competitive leagues with 5 different decks. What have I found? The bad matchups for blue-white control. I think mono-red is close to unwinnable, which is why blue-white approach isn't a particularly great deck. Like you just can't really beat. You just can't really beat mono-red. I personally think tokens is a hard match, though a lot of people tell me I'm insane and the tokens is a buy. Game 1's incredibly good for you, but game 2 and 3 is incredibly hard for you. I also think that any aggressive fish style deck with like a bunch of like glint siphoners and walking constrictors and or winding constrictors and stuff, backed up by counter spells and discard spells, are incredibly tough as well. And Drakehaven's close to unwinnable because Abandoned Sarcophagus in the late game is so brutal. You can be ahead for like 98% of the match versus Drakes, but when they build a board state where like they resolve the Abandoned Sarcophagus, the game's often over on the spot if they do it correctly. But like those are your hardest matches. And because Mono Red has always been like the most popular deck or the second most popular deck, I think that's one of the main reasons that Blue White Approach isn't a more popular like meta deck. Like I think this deck would be very popular if it wasn't for that little thing. Or that little like tidbit. I think I'm actually going to just go ahead and play a Meltdown here on this guy. I don't want to take the extra damage, and there's nothing really on 3 and 4 that I want to scatter. I want to scatter the Gearhulks because they're the big life changers. And I plan on fumigating anyway, so like letting him resolve another creature doesn't really hurt me. Oh wow, I could just keep that. I forgot. We play these now. Alright, we'll keep this. We play Baffling Ends now. What fun! Baffling Ends is a new addition to my deck. It's going to take me a little while to get used to. This is the first actual standard tournament I played with them. Yeah, the Drake match feels so weird because you literally just sit there and feel like you're just like destroying them. And then all of a sudden they're like, hello! And then like everything changes. So the one Liliana that they're playing, they typically only play one, is really, really good in this spot. They typically only play the one. Oh, wow. That's actually pretty good too, but I really, really, really want my land, so I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do here. I don't think I can afford to leave it in play. This guy has more than one because he's already put one in the graveyard, but they typically only play one, I think. I don't think I can get rid of that. I honestly think that Liliana just may be too strong. I have a theory that Drakehaven's the actual best deck in the format, but that I will never be good enough to prove it. That's my theory, because I think you have to be an absurdly fast and an absurdly good player to play Drakehaven at its maximum. I just don't think I will ever be that good. I've put quite a bit of work into trying to play Drakehaven, and I just fall on my face. But like I said, it's just a theory. I have no idea if it's even remotely accurate. I'm going to keep a cast out in case he resolves something after I cast the Fumigate this turn, because I'm planning on casting the Fumigate this turn. It's also something I can cycle later if I don't need it. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the graveyard because it gets us a guaranteed Search for Azcanta flip next turn, irregardless. So either way, the Search for Azcanta flips next turn and we get the land back if we did need it. We ended up drawing one, so we didn't even need it, but... So they have so many dead cards game 1 that game 1's relatively, typically pretty easy. Obviously that changes because like some of these builds can play like counter spells if they feel like it and so on. But game 2 and 3 is much, much tougher because on top of the Glints and the Gifted Everborns or Snakes or just whatever they're playing, they get to add both negates and duresses and sometimes even Kite Scale freebooters, sometimes um, sometimes Lost Legacy, anything like that they get to add to the mix. I'm actually gonna take the disallow over the approach here. Like we'll find another disallow by the time we need it, or so we'll find another approach, but like the Search for Azcanta is just too powerful, I think. And I'm not cycling this. I could have took a point of damage and left up the white, but I don't really want to cycle this card. Hey, Meeklam, thank you so much. 6 months in a row. That's insane, man. I highly, highly, highly appreciate it. I can't tell you how much that means to me. I appreciate it so much. I hadn't saw you around this month much. What in the world is this thing? Seems like he's paying X mana or something. No, this very likely won't be a mill game. They have too many like big cards like this that matter. Oh, that was a play mistake. I should have used my Search for Azcanta. That was absolutely atrocious. Or sorry, I should have used my Search for Azcanta. That was absolutely atrocious of me. Absolutely atrocious of me. I'm embarrassed about how bad that was. Oh gosh, I'm legitimately embarrassed about how bad that was. Like just legitimately embarrassed about how bad that was. That was one of the worst plays I've made in some time, and we're fervently punished for it as well, as we hit a sensor that could have counterspelled that. Rip. Sometimes I just start talking and don't pay enough attention and get absolutely shit wrecked. Like I just got clobbered, man. Yeah. Like I said, very, very, very embarrassing. I appreciate that, Mick. I gotta post a video or two on there today. I was playing one of those showdown leagues that lasted 2 hours or something because some guy timeouted me. I'm not sure whether I should post that or not. Don't know how interested people are in on the flashbacks to begin with, and then you add on top of that the on top of that a guy like literally sat there and wasted 12 minutes of our time that I don't know if it's worth it. We'll go ahead and counterspell that because it like protects from a fumigate. Like I'm still not worried about losing game one. Like I'll actually be impressed if he still wins game one, but like that was just such a bad play. I'll still be pretty impressed if he wins game one. Let's look at what other creatures he has. Doesn't have anything I care about, so I could get to Liliana, or I could just like stop him from drawing additional cards. I think I'm fine with just getting the Liliana and taking my 4. I don't know if him getting an extra card matters. Like Vraska's Vraska Relic Seeker is the only card in this deck that I think I care about for the rest of this game. I don't think I even care about I don't think I care about Scarab God or anything. But that play was atrocious. Okay. I'm actually going to play this because I wouldn't mind to hit a land, and we can cycle if we hit something off this. Could have left double wide open, but if I hit 2 cast outs, I wouldn't get rid of both cast outs anyway. Sure. Yeah, so if he doesn't have counter spells or a Field of Ruin to shuffle our deck, we know we win next turn. Could have Supreme Will in his main deck. I guess we can play around Supreme Will. I'm not going to play around every counter spell, but I think I could play around Supreme Will. I think I'm fine playing around Supreme Will. Okay. Like looking for a more specific card this way. Just gonna take the approach. Plays around Supreme Will on its own. Because we have more than 10 mana. And we get a second approach next turn, so like he has to have multiple hard counter spells here. Yep. Like he has to have multiple hard counter spells here, and if he does, like he has to have, you know, he has to have the one next turn too, and we have a chance to actually hit a counter spell for next turn. So, like I made a horrible play that game, and fortunately our game 1 win percentage is so high that that we got away with it. It's a little disappointing. Anyway, so he's a Catsail freebooter / duress glint deck. So you want all your baffling ends in this match. Get out of my deck. These are the cards that are kind of interesting here because all of these cards do different things versus different builds of his deck. Like, if he's not playing Lost Legacies, we don't need an alternate win condition. Our alternate win condition is also not great because of the magic of the magic of Death Touch. Overall, I think these are the better cards in the sideboard. Bindings aren't particularly great because you have such a high frequency of getting blown out with them. But overall, I think it's kind of good. I don't know what the last card to sideboard out is. Used to, we would sideboard out Ops, but in replace of the Ops, we've added a couple Baffling Ends and a couple Essence Scatters, which are both cards that I want in this match. So I'm not actually sure what I take out for the last card. It's kind of interesting. Thinking about taking out a Cast Out. I'm just going to take out the Search, I think. Yeah, I think I'm just going to take out a Search. It was between a Search and a Cast Out. And we have to be mindful of this game that he could have Lost Legacy, so like we have to craft our game that in a manner that we can potentially win with Rivulet. And then if we do see the fact that he does have like Lost Legacy and can beat Approach, and he does beat us this game, we get to re-sideboard, and then like we'll like rethink about Nezahals and stuff like that after that. So there's a Duress. He should probably take Search for Azcanta. It's the best card in our hand by a lot. A lot of medium players always take Approach in this situation because your deck is called Approach. But Search for Azcanta is the best card in our deck by a lot and in this match by a lot. It's just one of the reasons I typically go up to the 4th in the sideboard. It might have been a mistake. Like this cast out could have just been that Search. I have no idea. That's kind of an interesting cycle. I'm going to go ahead and cycle this cast out primarily because we don't have a second blue mana. Oh, did I misspeak? If I misspoke, I was trying to say Search for Azcanta. Like, Search for Azcanta is the real bay of this matchup. I may have misspoke. I probably should have sideboarded out the cast out. On hindsight, like I'm really, really regretting it. But I don't know if it's a confirmation bias because we drew the cast out or whether it's actually correct. I have a hard time like distinguishing things like that. Like when I have a close call, I have a hard time in my mind like distinguishing whether that close call was actually close or not, or whether like, I'm just having a confirmation bias. Like I'll just repeat myself, and I don't think I explained what I was trying to say anymore at all. Like, legitimately just don't think I explained what I was trying to say at all any better than what I had. That card's worth a counterspell. There's a good chance that he's like trying to back it up with negate, and don't super care if he does. short. So, a little sad. Mainly because it's going to be hard to deal with this game, I think. Like, our hand's pretty medium. Could just throw a binding on it, but I don't want to leave ourselves without our access to our disallow. So I'll probably field a runes and binding on the following turn. I have a new target that I plan on using binding on. Using binding on that card's much, much better than using binding on the other card. Because, like, if I counterspell this, he just gets to buy it back next turn. And that's Ooge, as they say. The problem here is he's very close to the Relic Seeker plays, and the Relic Seeker plays are all backbreaking. Relic Seeker is the best card that his deck has versus us. Is he really playing something else here? Oh, it's Argyle's Bloodfast. Interesting. That one's interesting. I think it's still a disallow on that. The card's just too good. Now that he tapped out, I'm a little confused on whether I'm supposed to play Approach or not. I'm just going to. Makes it hard for him to kind of tap out the rest of the game, assuming he doesn't have Lost Legacy. This also gives us a chance to rip. I was wrong! I was wrong the entire time! I was supposed to just play Binding on this. Trying to play around Vraska too hard. Oh, I guess he's going to take this. Who thinks he's going to take Fumigate here? He could not. If he had like a negate from us, taking Fumigate's probably wrong. That's a good turn for him, though. Alright, let's go get our Fumigate back, friends. He pressed F6 too, so it's definitely not a negate, because he was not prepared to counterspell an approach that turn. Alright, we'll take our big bundle. We know our approach is 6 cards down, by the way. Something relevant to think about because of the Rivulet. That's his Glimmer, not ours, so that's actually a really good Glimmer. He still has our card hidden. I guess he doesn't have our card hidden. He just missed on Gonti. I didn't realize it, but he missed on Gonti. He's not played one of our cards yet that I can tell. I did not realize that, but he definitely missed on Gonti. That's pretty unfortunate. We really wanted to land that turn. Like, not getting a land that turn's pretty brutal. Because now we can't use the Rivulet next turn. Is it? It usually says on the card that it's ours. It did not say on the card it was ours that time. It went to our graveyard though, so I guess it has to be ours. So, but usually it says right on the top of it, this card is owned by, or whatever. It did not say it on that card, so that's why that was confusing. I have no idea why it didn't say it. That's a Moto thing. So I just wasn't paying enough attention because I trusted Moto. Alright, well this game's going to be very, very, very difficult to win. It would have been comically easy to win had we just hit a land that turn instead of this baffling in, like, can't lose. But, well, we could lose. He could have land plus negate or whatever, but unlikely to lose, I'll rephrase. There's another baffling in. These baffling ins actually ain't bad here. Yeah, my first mistake, trusting the program I'm playing. Lost Legacy. Alright. Well, This game got a lot harder to win. So now we actually have to try to mill them. Considering they're ahead of us by already on cards, and I don't think we can actually mill their deck. I think the Lilianas and the Verascas are too backbreaking. This is a competitive league, and we're about to lose this game. He knows our hand now too. Yeah, I guess that resolves. It's gonna be hard to come back this game. He's got another champion in his graveyard, which is what makes it so brutal. Wouldn't be in that bad of shape if he didn't have the additional champion. But even Brad took the blackout. Even Brad took the blackout. Or sorry, green. Brad took the green out. No. No, fam, no. No, what do we do? Too many good things going on. Too many good things. We have to beat this thing. How? Help? How? Yeah, we're not winning this game, but we will get some more information on how they sideboard. Didn't they cut Chart of Courses out of the deck? I think they cut Chart of Courses out of the deck. Cool. Oh, rip, that's not a token. Ha! So stupid. It's a good thing that we weren't going to win this game. I think Brad cut Chart of Course. Alright, so we're definitely dead this game. But I do want to see a little bit more about how our opponent sideboarded, so I'm at least going to untap and use these couple of rivulets. Should have tapped double white in case we drew another rivulet. Punished! Punished! Punished, I say. Alright, so we're dead next turn. Fine with that. Again, just want to use the rivulets to get information for sideboarding. I think it's profitable to go ahead and use one now. Maybe we can draw Fumigate and extend the game or something. So see a Vraska. It's got 3 Scarab Gods, at least 2 Vraskas that we know about. One glint. Does he not have? Alright. Good enough for me. So, he's got a crap ton of Death Touchers between the Glints and the Gaunties. So I don't even know if this card can win. I don't know if we can even win with this card. Alright, so these are the cards that I'm considering bringing in. Well, I did not mean to do that. Let's pull them over here to the side a little. I did not mean just to pull them over like that. Wasn't there a 6 card? Oh no, there's just 5. So these are the cards that I'm considering bringing in here. I'm pretty sure I'm going to at least drop one approach because of the Lost Legacies and the Duresses. And I'm 100% bringing that in, 100% bringing these in. I don't think these castouts and bindings are the best things that are in their deck because of his Vraska's Relic Seekers. But they're probably still good enough to bring in. Now, so we have to lose 3 more cards, and that's where things get real difficult. I want some number of Baffling Ends. Maybe I just can't bring all these in. Maybe these just can't come in. I've got to deal with just the 4. What is the last card? Doodah, doodah, oh what is the last card? All the doodah day. I'm tempted to take the approach out. I don't have a card to take out. I legitimately don't have a card to take out. Alright. Don't have a card to take out. Hey, Matty boy, thank you for the 177 person host. Highly appreciate it. Sour Please? I do not know what Sour Please is. I thought about it. I thought about taking out another approach. Alright, we'll keep. We're obviously going to have to hit lands. This hand is not stellar by any means, but I think it's too good to mulligan. I think you just keep this hand and realize you're going to lose a fairly decent amount of games, but I think you probably lose more on like a random 6. I did cut 1 Baffling in, so apparently you are at Lag City. Lag City. It's kind of cute that our deck can do this. Our deck didn't used to be able to do this. Hey, Matty. How'd you end up doing in your league? I saw you beat the anti-red deck with like the cats, the like Bant deck or whatever. But I turned on my stream afterwards, so I don't know how you did after that. That's a massive host from Matt. In fact, if you guys haven't watched Ode Matty, let me get a link for you because you guys should definitely go watch Mr. Matt, the best standard streamer on Twitch. You will not see Glacial Fortresses on his stream though. Oh no. No Glacial Fortresses to be had on his stream. Land? Hey, we have a land. We're still playing Magic. We just lose if the Bloodfast resolves. It sucks to use 2 of our 3 negates that early in the game, but like that card's that brutal. Does that card do anything? I don't think that card does enough for me to care. Just gonna use my cast out. I don't think I saw you play it on stream anyway. Duress. Well, that's a good boy. Not feeling optimistic about this game, but versus approach, or when you're playing approach, sometimes you can always just draw approach, win. kind of a cool negate. It kind of like masks our negate a little bit that he just saw our hand. I'm like feigning F6 here. Press F3 back into second main phase, so hopefully we can get a big boy. Well, wrecked. Wrecked, friends. What do you do here, Baffling End? Absolutely nothing. You're good for nothing, Baffling End. Give us ourselves another turn to draw one of our 2 cast out sword bindings. Oh wow, we get a turn to draw essence scatters and stuff now as well. That's always fun. Could draw a Search for Azcanta, so I think it's worth going ahead and cycling. We're doomed. We're not doomed. He's got to draw a Lost Legacy to prove that he can still beat us. Well, we got a massive host today, Darth. We got 177 from Mr. Matty. Hey, Soapy Josh, thank you so much for the follow. Our opponent's just going to cast an absolute bomb every turn the rest of this game. This is bad times for us. Alright. Bad things are happening. We're doomed. We're doomed. Hey, Sandstorm, thank you so much, man. Hey, we can resolve a Baffling End on that. Hot dang. Nezaha? Yeah. You're not great, but you're cute. Hey, Nazi, what's up? At least the Scarab God can't attack. He can hostage taker the crap out of this, by the way. No, this is really bad, by the way. He's already got a hostage taker in his graveyard. I'm just resigned to my defeat. I was dead either way. Goodbye, Nazi. We'll miss you. We'll miss you, Nazi. We wouldn't have cared about the Veraskas. Veraskas was fine. We draw a card. But we go to 1 life here and hopefully draw Fumigate. We're 100% dead. Just having fun. I don't know. I guess we wasn't 100%. We were like 0.00000 dead. Alright. GG. We let our opponent have our Nazi because it's cool. Alright. Well, we're down to 1-1 versus the Drowned Catacomb decks today. Oh no. A match just started immediately. What's this little dude? Man, that dude's got a lot of emotes. Where our game started, I don't exactly know where it went. Oh, here it is. I was like, I don't know where it went, but it certainly started. Well, hand is very, very bad. Hand is worse. Is it all going downhill now, stream? No, it's downhill. Downhill. It's so bad. It's so bad. What is this? There's still... Why is there still Teamer in this format? Get it out. Stop it. Why is there still Teamer? we got a host of 177, Matt, and most of them left. Also, thank you for the resub today, Mr. Matt. Highly appreciate it. But we got a host by the best standard player on Twitch, Mr. Matthew Milkboy, folks. Where's his, there we go. Matthew Milk Boy. What is this little thing across his face? I cannot read what that says. Does that say sellout? That's hilarious. Alright. Harness Lightning to deal an extra point of damage. I guess. You already had a point of energy, so I'm not sure. Do you guys know that we're probably dead next turn? Or we might have to do something super cute like disallow a trigger? So he gets like 2 extra points of damage off this, which is just cute. That's all sorts of cute, my friends. How are we dead? We're not dead yet. He's got to show us a Glorybringer or a counterspell. We got hope. We did mulligan to 5 on the draw, by the way, and not play a spell. That is, in fact, a Glorybringer. What trickery of our opponent. We're dead. Told you had to show us a Glorybringer. So we counterspell it, this thing kills us. If we don't counterspell it, the big Dargon itself kills us. I told you had to show us a Glorybringer. I was right. I mathed. So we bring these things in. I have no idea whether we bring this thing in or not. Usually bring a couple of negates, but not a bunch of them. I've never played with Baffling in before, so I'm not super sure what all matches it's great in and what all matches it isn't great in. Fine with cutting the sensors. Like, I have my theory, and my theory is that it's like not particularly good in this match, but he could be a little bit more aggressive. He did show us the Brawler. Generally cut the more expensive counter spells because you're typically tapping your mana for other things on those turns. You know, like, I normally don't have these in this deck. I normally have another Effort Meltdown and 2 Baffling Ends, so, like, how to sideboard's not 100% clear to me. Since we've changed the deck so much. I'm just going to try this. But, like, the awkwardness on sideboarding this match and last match are completely due to us forcing these 4 Baffling Ends in the deck that we didn't really have room for. And then, like, just trying to run with them. Oh, God, this hand's terrible, too. Alright, well, this is the best hand we've had. It's a reasonable hand. We can't be upset with it. Definitely don't want the authorities. I can't imagine wanting authority for anything. I don't care about Glorybringer, and I don't think they have that many more, I don't think they have that many more things with haste. I think it's pretty much Glorybringer. Like, maybe Rekindling Phoenix is coming back from the graveyard, but, like, we're not really killing Rekindling Phoenix, so... Like, we're trying to kill Rekindling Phoenixes with, like, Settles and Essence Scatters and Approaches and stuff, so it's not like we're abrading it and it comes back. If we were, then it'd have, like, more value, I think. Like, if we were, like, a 3-color build and, like, you know, like, using Harness Lightnings and stuff to try to combat it. Any creature I would counterspell here because I want to cast Glimmer next turn. So, land or dead? Not land. Or is land, so not dead, is what I meant to say. I'm probably going to try to play Regal on 5, even. Not really super concerned whether he's going to Glorybringer it or not. Just the 2/1/1s get enough damage in, and it's really just a roadblock anyway. Like, even if he does exert it, it saves an additional 4 points of damage because, like, he's exerted on the following turn. And all we're trying to do at this point is stall the game. So, like, him exerting is an actively good thing for us. And he doesn't have to have Glorybringer either. Like, if he just doesn't have Glorybringer, then the Regal Caracol is obviously much better. If he does have it, you know, it exerts, and that's not too bad for us. We gain 2 of the life back instantly from the cats, and it's exerted on the following turn. So, like, that's all net positive things. So, like, we cast this Regal Caracol into expecting a Glorybringer. But still think it's very positive for us to play it in that spot. Like, Fumigate's the only card in our deck that, like, makes it much, much worse to play. If she just plays another Glorybringer, I'd probably settle here. Especially if he attacks with the Servant. Chandra gets negated. It's too good of a spell not to negate, especially when we just put a cast out on the bottom and we've sideboarded one out. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this because I don't trust these things. I don't actually know how, though. One moment. I'm going to timeout user and then untime him out. I don't care about people posting links. That's fine, but like I saw that specific link posted in a bunch of different chats, and it leads to like some kind of weird, some kind of very weird link that I'm pretty sure isn't safe because when I googled the URL, it said it's not safe. So I'm just trusting that it's not safe. Land? That's not a land. It's one of the many downsides to this deck, by the way. If you don't hit your lands, you are in trouble. And the current build that we have of the deck has us shaving on ops and stuff, so our lands are less consistent. As you saw in like 3 of our... How many games have we played today? I think you saw it like rear its dirty head in 3 or 4 of our games today. Like the ops move that draws out so much. I don't care about that. I don't even care too much if he plays another Glorybringer. It's kind of weird that he used mana for that. What does he have in his hand that makes using mana for that right? I don't know. But he didn't exert, so since he didn't exert, we are going to settle. If he'd exerted, we probably wouldn't settle. Is he going to play post-combat? This looks like he's clearly like trying to show us something. Because that tick up for mana was awkward. Hey, Sir Radas. Or Sir Kratos. Yeah. Kind of close. Guess our opponent just has a counterspell of some kind. I have no idea. He's only got 1 card in hand. Enjoy if you have it. Things don't get better for us, so. I wish I was watching it. I literally forgot. A little sad that I'm not watching the All-Star game. Man, people either do not like me or do not like Blue-White Approach. Because we're down to 77, folks. Wow, he just had like double glory? He's not going to exert him, is he? That's a pretty solid hand, but we can just untap and draw search. Or approach, rather. Ah, the beauty of the lucky deck. The beauty of the lucky draw. That's one of the cool things about this deck. We wasn't in that bad of a shape anyway because we had this thing under control, and he was going to have to overextend into settle, so he was definitely going to have to draw a counterspell, I think. Alright, so Brontodon is a card. With Brontodon being a card, what do I think about Brontodon being a card? Maybe Search for Azcanta is just not good enough and I need to like try to stall the game even more? It's the best card in the deck though. This feels insane to me. Alright, let's try this. We don't really have time to play Search on the draw early or late, because you're generally playing something on 2 and 3 and 4 all the time. God, look at these hands. These hands are just stone bad. I don't know if I can keep this. I think I'm going to because of the Scryland, but kind of already feels like a mulligan. If he just has an aggressive draw, it's going to be hard to win with this. I think I'm going to keep it because of the Scryland. Or the Cycle Land. I don't know why I called it a Scryland. I think this is medium. It's either right below a keep or right above a keep. I don't think it's clearly a keep at all. And cards like this are one of the reasons we take Censor out of the deck, because it makes Censor a lot worse. Hopefully it's just Chandra here. Whatever it is, he's spending mana. Alright, Chandra, so that's the one thing we could deal with on this turn. That feels good. It also feels bad because I don't think you often play that Chandra unless you have multiple Chandras. Like holding the farmland back a turn or two just to give us a little cushion in regards to possibly needing to draw a land. I'm gonna hold it for one more turn as well. At the minimum, anyway. Alright, what'd you say? I think the list may need some Supreme list. Well, yeah, our Baffling Ends used to be ops. So, like, it used to not be that bad looking for an additional land. We had ops, and all of the censor things, like, lets you smooth your land draws in early game. But, like, we've recently cut them to try to Baffling Ends because 4 mono red decks top 8 at the MTGO PTQ yesterday, and Matthew Folks was playing mono red a lot on stream today. So, like, I just thought mono red would be very popular in this league. So far it's not been popular, so like I don't know whether I made a bad meta call or whether we're just like getting the wrong matches, but yeah. Like this deck pretty much always wants a land. This deck's one of the land greediest decks that I've played. It's like one of the biggest reasons that like this deck isn't super competitive, I think. If he's got a counterspell, he's got a counterspell here. We have to go ahead and use this because we could like untap and draw Fumigate or another Settle, or just like waiting. We don't have enough time to wait till we can protect it with Disallow, so like there's too high of a chance that he just has, gives him more chance to draw and negate himself. And if he doesn't have a counterspell there, it feels pretty good for us. Assuming we draw an untapped land in the next 2 turns anyway, then it feels pretty good for us. There was like all sorts of noise in my house, and all of a sudden there's now no noise in my house. Weird. I think I'd counterspell pretty much anything he played here. That deals more than 3 damage anyway. Not counterspelling that, are we? I am a liar. Nezahal out of that deck is not something I expected and probably beat us. There's a very large chance that Nezahal just beat us. So we know it'll be 6 cards down after our draw step. Maybe he'll tap out and play a bunch of things, but like I doubt it. It seems to me like he's just got a bunch of counter spells in his hand now. But we could be wrong. He doesn't have to have the counter spells. Oh yeah, we are. We are stone dead, friends. He's not playing the cards in his hand, so this pretty much says we are dead. We'd have to be pretty lucky to not die here. It's not a 0% chance, but it is a low chance. He's not scooped, so it means he has something, I think. Alright, seems like he's scooped now. The game locked up, so anytime the game locked up, he's scooped. So we got extremely lucky that game. Wow, who expected us to win that game when he still had 2 cards in his hand and he hadn't played one? Did not expect that at all. Feel very fortunate. Feel pretty fortunate there. Anyway, we're 2-1. We got to win the next 2 for the big prize, 1 for the PD chest, and if we lose the next 2, we can be sad. I was too. I totally thought that game was over, but I'm a glass half empty type of guy, so yeah, I wouldn't be happy. I'd be like, that prick's got 2 approaches again. I'm out. Anyway, we keep. It's one of the better hands we've had tonight. He didn't say anything. Or I didn't notice him say anything if he did. A Nuz? The Grixis, maybe? Are we getting the Teamer 2 rounds in a row? No, we're not. We're getting that deck. Oh gosh, no. Not the red decks. Keep them away. Keep the red decks away. This was a mistake. I should have played the Plains because if we drew a Farmlands next turn, we would want to play Farmlands with an opportunity to cycle both cast outs. So like playing this island was a mistake here. Well, that's the best card in the deck versus us, so we have to go ahead and counterspell it. Hazoret's the second best card. Beaumont's the best card. Alright, so we finally got paired versus one of these little red decks, and we're going to have to see if our sideboarding is good enough, if our changes is good enough to help us in the match, or if we even draw the cards for the changes. And thus far, it is no. Ugh. I'm not going to cycle this because of Hazoret. Yeah, it has, they typically have white in the sideboard as well. Or, sorry, they typically have, I'll spit it out. They typically have white for Path of Metals as well, but he may have cut that. Either way, we're going to take a large hit this turn. May not attack with everything because of Settle, which will be beautiful for us. Hopefully he just plays a 4-drop. Opponent doesn't want any part of playing a 4-drop. It's actually probably a bad sign. That means his hand's probably all burn spells and or all like a way to refuel the board. If he refuels enough, we're going to struggle. Didn't cast any burn spells, so I'm assuming he doesn't have them, because if he had them, he'd probably throw them at me in hopes to play a Hazoret. So he's just got hasty guys. That's a problem. That's a bigger problem for us than him just having Hazoret. That's 5 points of damage across 2 threats, and like Fumigate's not excessively good here. It's good enough to play, I think, but I don't think it's great. He may not have the other land, and either way, if we just like play a cast out and we play it on that, we equal out about the same amount of life towards the end. If he's got a land, he gets to hit us for 4 down to 5. Then we get to settle back to 12. No land, that's great. He does have another creature, though. Go up to 16 and hope he doesn't hit the land, because him hitting us for 8 would be a lot this turn. It wouldn't kill us. We'd have outs, but it would hurt. I didn't actually realize Daredevil was a pirate, even though it's got this bitchin' hat on. Like this sweet, sweet hat. I had not realized. And sometimes you just draw the second approach and it's over. This, I said bitchin' hat. I'm proud of that one. Alright. Hey, Glenn. Or Gin. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. But yeah, I had not realized that. Alright, so you pretty well bring all your white cards in all the time versus these matches. You always get rid of your searches, even though some people argue with me that that card's good enough to keep. I personally don't like it. Also, get rid of the Glimmers, because you're kind of like a tap-out control deck, and then I remove some of the hard counter spells, because we're usually spending our mana to like cast like a Baffling End or like a Fumigate or something, and then they're like untapping and jamming their Chandras or Hazarets or Phoenixes or Glorybringers or whatever. So like you often don't get a chance to get your disallow successful on the play. Sorry, on the draw. You often don't get it on the play either, and cast outs are just better in those situations. But yeah, got pretty lucky that game, I think. This is one of your harder matches. And I think if he'd hit that 6th land, we'd probably lose that game. But no 6th land for him. Alright, well, we have to mulligan. Alright, hand's good enough to keep, but not super happy about it. I'm actually going to leave that on top too. We're just going to try to like handle threat. I thought this was a Baffling End. That could have been a an aggressive keep on the cast out, because I thought I had 2 Baffling Ends in my hand. The old 1/1 for 1. Does that mean he has more Rigging Runners in his hand? He just drew this then. He would have played it on turn 1 before he plays a Rigging Runner. I think you only play this on turn 1 if you have at least another. Yeah, so he has another. think on average we gain more life with the approach here. Because I think he's going to play more or with the 40. Because the baffling end only prevents 2 damage. And if he has a Kenra, the 40 quote unquote prevents 3. If he has a Cropper, the 40 quote unquote prevents 4. So I think it's just a better play to play the 40 on that spot. Yeah, it has to be a graphic glitch. There's only 4 in the main deck. You should be able to type ! deck list and see the list that we're trying tonight. But we changed the list a lot. This is the first night that we've ever tried this particular build of the deck. So, like, this one would give you a printable list, and this one's just a picture if you already know what the cards do. But still, so, like, we gained a life and we prevented 2 damage here. So, like, playing the 40 actually gave us more than casting the baffling end, which is actually just kind of really awkward and sweet. And then we get to use our baffling end on a better card, which always feels good. We're taking at least another hit of 5, though. Or, sorry, 4. I misspoke. I forgot that this Rigging Runner wasn't swollen like this guy. He'd skipped leg day in the gym. Oh, God. That was a big hit. Not bad, opponent. Not bad at all. That causes some issues. Hey, Multifree, thank you so much for the follow. That, Invigorated Rampage was really sweet there. He's not going to attack with the Firebrand, I don't think, so we're basically at an effective 4 life. Oh, that's really weird. I wonder if it bugged out. I wonder how many are actually in our deck then. I was taking a drink, but we're definitely casting Settle here. Which gives him the opportunity to play whatever, but I mean, we don't really have options. Hopefully he continues to play 1 creature a turn, because 1 creature a turn lets us net life over the next couple of turns. Hey, Jade Arrow, thank you so much for the follow. Highly appreciate it. There's definitely a tickle in my throat right now, so I apologize if you hear me like clearing my throat and stuff. I'm trying to hit the mute button, but sometimes I just instinctively don't. He's attacking with both at this point. Alright, I guess we just go to our block phase and let him cast his Invigorated Rampage if he chooses. So he's doing 2 and 2. He's got 3 rampages, we lose. If he's got a lightning strike, we lose. He's got a shock, we basically lose. He's doing 2 to both, it looks like. So we're just going to go ahead and get the bigger one. Take our 3 and hope we don't get lightning struck. Don't do it, opponent. Ah, he's got it. No, he doesn't have it. Nice. Nope, we got something else to use a cast out on, it looks like. God, I wish my throat would stop this. It's very, very, very aggravating while streaming and trying to talk. Alright, down to 3. In lightning strike range. Play a non-hazard creature, please. That is the exact opposite of what we asked him to do. And we did. A glass of milk. Stop it. This is a good turn to draw Hazoret. The turn we no longer have an answer for it. After all this time, the one turn we don't have an answer for it. Yeah, we did. The sideboard. I don't think I'm changing anything on the play to the draw in this match. Assuming we ever get the sideboard. There we go. Yeah, I'm not changing anything from the play to the draw, I don't think. I think we played that game well. I think we made correct decisions. It's our hard match for a reason. Baffling End was kind of good. Still don't know if it's as good to be in the deck, though. Keeping this end. Yeah, we win that game on the play, probably. Well, that's not true. We'd be one card less deep in our deck, so, like, maybe not. We have the most important card in our hand. He has a blue source, so it's even. Showed another Daring Buccaneer, so this could be one of those 6 points of damage on turn 2 play. Oh god, those are hard ones to beat when they do 6 points of damage on turn 2. Just don't have to. Don't have to, we'll be sad. We'll be in deep trouble if he has to. Like, we're going to have to hit several lands in a row if he has to. And by several, I mean we probably have to hit one and a settle. Oh, he does have to. He's got 6 points of damage on turn 2. Oh, it's so insane. Those draws are so incredibly uncommon. As much as we streamed that deck, we never got that draw one time. I believe it's been got versus me at least once in every match I've been paired versus. I probably should have cycled the Censor. That was a mistake. I believe not cycling that Censor was a mistake by me. The reason I didn't was because I planned on Fielder ruining his blue source. And, then censoring, but, like, it's probably still wrong. Alright, don't care about that at all. That breaks even-ish. It's getting worse. Settle's getting better, though. Alright, goodbye, blue source. Hopefully he doesn't have basic islands in his deck. They typically don't. There's a Baffling End. We have to hit lands or we're dead. And we don't hit lands, so that's just a game. We have no out, I don't think. I don't think we have any out then. Just take 7 and then 7? I don't know, maybe we can draw land into settle, depending on what's in his hand. That sucks. We've almost certainly lost 3 games this event based on solely on lands. I'm pretty sure we win this game if we just hit land, but that could not be accurate. He could just have like land hazard and then like we wouldn't have. Pretty hard to win now though. I would put us on effectively 0 outs. You can't even make this attack, by the way, if we have a 4th land. We can literally just bluff and he will never make this all-in attack. Whoa. But now we can't even bluff, because no matter what, he's going to send a minimum of lethal in, so we're just dead. Frustrating, but it's okay. Playing for the pity chest. Let's see if we can get there, friends. Hey, Elder Jeep Fiend. That's a sweet name. So let's play first. Hand is bad enough to mulligan. I'd probably keep that last hand on the draw, but I won't keep it on a mulligan. Any land's good enough to keep, I think. We have a search for Azcanta, so just like not missing land drops is super relevant. Alright. They play the plains. That's typically good for us. It's like generally only bad for us if they're like playing pure combo, like green-white combo. The hidden stockpile decks are a rough post board, but yeah, so he is playing combo. Oh, he's playing real combo. The faster combo. That's a hard one to win. We can't put that in our graveyard because we need the mana for the Settle the Wreckage. To settle the wreckage that we never want to cast. I guess to flip this turn, like, again, the opponent had the Nutha Butters. They don't play 4 of either of these cards typically. I mean, we don't know our opponent's list. He could be. So, like, being able to do this is insane. It's just, like, really, really good. I want one of these draws when I play these decks. I don't have to fight for it all the time. I actually do think I got this draw once when I streamed the deck. I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure I got that draw once when I streamed the deck. The deck's really fun. I actually think that deck's very good. Some people in our stream do not think that deck's very good. Yeah, we have to get lands, so... Got a cool play here. Either he gets a million lands or we get to cast Glimmer. Both of these are appealing. Probably just casting Glimmer either way, by the way. That's fine, whatever. I'd rather cast Glimmer than that. Could hit a Fumigate or something off the Glimmer and that's just better. Not Essence Scattering it because we have to settle. Bottom. Another settle. Could be worse. Definitely to the graveyard. We got there. What did Gunner leave? I didn't know he left anything. There was like nothing on the tables that I can remember. What'd you leave, Gunner, bub? So, during our next upkeep, we're going to kill this Adonto because it flips our search for Azcanta this turn, and we still have 4 mana for a settle. I think I want another white. Oh, you guys were making jokes. I thought you were being serious. I thought you guys were being serious. You silly jokesters. I'm willing to take 4 damage this turn and try to hold up the Essence Scatter for like an Okecha, or to like try to persuade him out of playing a Huatli. Not real concerned about just taking 4 damage, especially when we have 2 settles in our hand. He can have that too because of the settles. Look at his hand. So there is the Okecha that we've been worrying about a little bit. Kept Okecha on top. But next turn we can settle with Essence Scatter. I think we're just going to take the Disallow here. We're more worried about not dying to like weirdness than we are losing this game. Yeah. Then we draw the second Essence Scatter, and now we're not that concerned about that either. So things went very well for us this game. I cannot pronounce your name, but Exumarex, thank you very much for the follow. Highly appreciate it. You are the best, fam. Alright, we'll go ahead and use a settle here. Getting ready to Essence Scatter the Okecha if he plays it, or just any creature that he plays. I mean, we have an abundance of Essence Scatters. He cycled instead of play Okecha. I guess it's kind of weird. He's just done. Alright. That's weird. When you have Okecha in a prayer, like, you have a chance. Just slam the Okecha there and hope you don't counterspell it, right? Feel like they have a chance. Anyway, so post-board, the game's changed actually a fair amount. Hey, Ivan 49ers. Post-board, they have access to sometimes Carnage Tyrant, sometimes Prowling Shepherd, but they have more enchantment removal and stuff like that. The battle versus our Baffling Ends and Castouts. But overall, I still think they're worth it. Not 100% on this, but like I still think they're overall worth it. I generally shave one search for Azcanta, because as I was saying earlier, just like last game, you don't have enough time to play it early, so like you often can just, draw it later in the game, and it's fine. I want to cut a couple of these as well, and I think Censors are actually very bad in this match. The one thing I'm curious about is like whether I should be bringing in any negates or not to stop the combo shenanigans. And I tend to think that I should, but I gotta be honest, I'm just not going to. Might consider it for game 3, but I'm just not going to. They also could have Heroic Intervention and Blossoming Defense that I have to worry about. Like, so the post-board games are considerably different than the main board games, as in most matches. Like, this deck's game 1 win percentage is so incredible, but its game 2 and 3 are significantly worse versus most of the decks in the format. But not all. See what he decides to play here. Merfolk Branchwalker. That's fine. Pretty sure most anything that he plays next turn's better than Merfolk Branchwalker, so I'm just going to try to Essence Scatter it. If that had got 3 power, I would have considered Baffling Ending it, but I don't want to play Baffling End for that. Then he'll just like naturalize this and like upgrade his creature for a card. So I think Baffling End can do better than an Errant 2/1 that doesn't have any additional value in the match. Fool me once, etc., etc. I'm still just not worried about any of that stuff. Willing to take another hit or two. We have a Settle and a Fumigate, so like I'm just kind of willing just to take all of this and not really care. Do want to hold the Settle for as long as possible though, because they are an appeal for a 4D combo deck. I could have considered shaving one glimmer or two for a negate. You're generally not able to cast more than one glimmer in this match. It's just kind of odd. Our opponent's still just not playing anything. Is that trying to make us act first, I guess? I think I'm just going to take another 4 if he doesn't do anything and cast Glimmer. I'm not going to cast 4. I'm just going to settle. I don't want to take more damage this turn. Well, screw it. I'll take the damage. If I had a land drop, I would not take... I would cast Settle if I had a land drop for the Fumigate. But where I don't have a land drop for the Fumigate, I'm pretty content on just casting Glimmer here. So putting the land on top. This is our primary concern this game. It's just hitting lands. Probably going to discard one of these Baffling Ends at this point. Alright, we'll cast Settle now. Our life total's finally low enough that you got us, friend. You got us. I shouldn't press F6. I may want to cast out whatever he plays. Alright, that card's not real impressive here. Guess it's impressive enough because of this thing. I think I'm just going to cast this. I don't think this gets a whole lot better, so I think I'm just willing to go ahead and use it and see if he's got a heroic intervention. If he doesn't, I feel pretty confident. Assuming he doesn't have another expertise or whatever. That one's not terrible. We'll be cycling that land, but am I casting a Baffling End or not? I don't think so. I think I'm willing to take a few more damage here and potentially try to save a Baffling End for like a relevant threat. He's not playing anything, so I think it's finally time that I'm going to get off this cast out plan and just go ahead and cycle it. I guess there's disallows in our deck, so. Alright. Everybody's so quiet. Everybody's leaving. They don't want to watch the green-white deck. Or is it they don't want to watch the blue-white deck? Rude. We'll eat so much food here in a little while, you guys don't even understand. It's gonna be, how they say in the funny papers, redonkulous. Ooh, that's not a terrible card. I think I'm going to hold the Baffling End another turn. He's got to be able to play a relevant spell at some point. That's a relevant spell. What does he have in his hand? He's just like not playing anything. Is it just a bunch of appeals? Could just be a bunch of appeals. 3 appeals kill us, right? I think 3 appeals kills us that turn, but there's no reason to spend 3 when you can do it for 2 on the following turn, I guess. Let's start here and see if we hit a Fumigate. Oh, yeah. Well, we hit a Fumigate, so I guess we're just going to try to Fumigate. Again, he could have Heroic Intervention. He didn't have it last time, though, but he's had several draw steps since then. I'm actually not feeling that much better. My deck doesn't seem like one? Why are you hating on my deck? We have, like, things and stuffs. And things. That card's definitely worth just using a Baffling End on. Alright, well, we figured out what's in his hand. You get to settle here and make sure we don't die. I think that's better than getting to approach. Just like knowing we won't die. Okay, he's done. He conceded. You get to settle, he's done. But, like, he could have, like, untapped and had, like, #tap Oasis and killed us, so I think it was better just to get to settle and not risk it. Alright, well, we got a PD chest today and played a whole lot of games. We beat a blue-black control deck pretty handedly. It did go to time. It was a pretty interesting game, but had a little unluck. We lost to the, like, Binya, Yuya, Brad Nelson, and the other people that are playing it. I don't know all of their names, but, like, the blue-black chart deck with Faraska's in the main deck. Pretty interesting games. Game 1 was real easy. I didn't really feel like I was competitive in Game 2 or 3 at all. Then we beat the green-white deck. We lost to the red deck, which is our worst match. And I don't remember what this game was, so we'll take a quick peek at it. But, oh, okay, yeah, this is the teamer deck. We beat a teamer deck that had a pretty medium draw. But overall on the day, the deck felt kind of decent. The Baffling Ends just did not feel like they were worth it. We had a game versus the red decks where we, like, drew a Baffling End when we had an authority, and, like, it still wasn't super close. So, like, I'm still just not a big fan of these Baffling Ends. Also, we had multiple games where, like, we Baffling Ended Glint Siphoners, and, like, it just wasn't enough. Any chance I could tempt you to give the Super Friends a run for 1,000 bits? Well, you don't have to pay me to get me to run decks in general. Let me go look at the Super Friends. I'm definitely not playing any more tonight. Let me go look at your list, though. Maybe I'll think about it for tomorrow. I'll play your deck tomorrow. I'll play it tomorrow for free. You don't donate. I'll play it for free tomorrow. Yep. So this is what we're going to play tomorrow. For those who want a spoiler, we're going to play this deck tomorrow. I think I can read all the card names. I'm not actually sure. Chandra, Nicobolas, Faraska, Nissa, Angrath, Liliana. I think this is Nissa. Tezzeret, Saheeli. Is this Samut? This could be Samut. I'm not sure. Yeah, I can see the rest of it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. We'll play this deck tomorrow. But anyway, that's going to be it for me tonight. I would like to thank all of you guys for the new follows. I want to thank Matt for the massive host. And if you guys haven't saw, Make sure you go check out Matt. He is a wonderful streamer. He's a much better player than me. Has a much better attitude. Just a good guy all around, he seems. But go check him out. He's pretty sweet. And we're going to find somebody to host real quick. I typically like to host somebody playing standard, and it looks like Buttons is playing standard, so we're going to host Buttons. But and then I'm going to go get some food and go find a replay of the All-Star game. Hey, Andre, thank you for following as well. But take care, everybody. I'm going to go watch basketball and eat. I appreciate you all coming out, and there'll be a couple videos going up on YouTube soon. I don't remember exactly. Nah, you don't have to donate to me, man. But anyway, take care, everybody, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you, guys.